Oh, good morning.
Good morning. I'm trying to adjust my exciting laptop stand, but I don't like how it's showing me. I don't like any of these angles. I'm having a
Oh my
rough
goodness.
kind of day.
It's it's so difficult to be a photographer, because you're always
You
worried
have no
about.
idea. You have no idea. I still haven't even gotten over all my legal field PTSD because everywhere I go, I'm like, that's a tripping hazard. And that light switch is gonna short. And I wish I had been like, I don't know, some sort of job that's just like sunny and shiny where you just see happy things all the time and you can't imagine anything going bad.
I don't know what that job is, and if
I don't know what
anybody does know what that job is out there, let me know. But
I don't know because I almost said something like Disney, but screw that. Disney's got a million problems. People are falling and tripping all over the place. I don't know.
plus all the conspiracy theories, I don't know if they're real or not, but Disney sounds pretty scary to me.
I think that's like one of the things is I never I think I don't know if I mentioned it last episode, but on my list of things to do is a TED talk by a woman, and the of course I can't remember her name, and the topic is something like how to survive the collapse of society or something like that, or the collapse of civilization. I don't know, something like that. But it's basically about how to survive when every input that you get is something like life threatening, right? And I saw there was I don't know, a shooting in another university somewhere, and the one of the girls who survived this shooting also survived a shooting when she was in high school. And I'm like, man, like it's really hard. Like there's a lot of heavy shit going on out there. It's just insane. I mean, and how do you disconnect and stay informed at the same time? I've gone down to filtering my news through various very short TikToks from trusted sources that just give me the things I need to know. But yeah, there's a lot going on out there.
Um, and I'm kind of like feeling like this is just rolling into our topic. So I was going to ask you about your weekend, but I'm like, but we're on topic already, which, um, the title of our episode today is it just me or is everything asking too much right now? And, um, this it came from just me walking through life, and people are like, I'm in survival mode, like this is too much, I can't take it, and I'm exhausted and I can't take much more of this, and what's next? And um so I just, in my daily walking through life with the other human beings, this is what keeps coming up. And so I thought we'd have a nice episode here where we can, first, I want to invite everybody to take just a nice deep breath. Exactly.
Yeah. Woo! That was like taking a
um,
shower. I needed that.
I mean, it's amazing how much just connecting to breath can do. And, you know, there is a lot out there. And the only thing that we really have to deal with is what's right here, right now. And so, uh, there's a lot of reasons that the world feels like that right now. Um, as I was saying off camera, like we're ending the year of the snake, which was a year of shedding. You know, shedding is a lot. When you take off these layers, while they don't, like, you need to shed them to move forward and to become what you're meant to become, but also understanding that those layers are, um they're like buffers, they're protectors, they keep you a little bit sheltered from the rawness out there. And so if you've been taking this year and doing that shedding. Like, know that, um, yeah, you are going to feel a little bit more raw. And as you said, those layers that don't serve you, you're also stepping into something new, which is unknown. And we know that the unknown can feel a little scary and a little overwhelming. And so, um, that's just reason one that it's normal for you to feel like everything is too much right now. We're also 2025. I gotta like go slow with numbers because I will make them dyslexic. But 2025 is a 9 year. That means 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 equals 9. And
Okay.
9 is a number of completion. And so yes, you're completing all the things. Like, that's work, a lot. So, but the good news is that 2026 is a year, it's a 10, which makes it a 1, which makes it a year of beginnings, fresh start, newness. And again, like I said before, that's wonderful. It's amazing. And it's also new and unknown, which can make it feel scary and challenging. It's also the holidays right now. Like, other than like when I was a child, I don't remember the holidays ever feeling like just rainbows and unicorns. Like, it's always a lot of energy. And you've got 50 million holiday parties to go to. You've got to make all the plans and who's cooking what and who's, like, if you're into that gift giving thing, which I'm so glad that like my family pretty much dropped all the gift giving years ago. And so um I don't have any plans other than going to see the new Avatar movie for Christmas Eve. So like I feel really calm about the holidays, but I get like everybody else out there has a million and one things going on for the holidays. So I've said a lot. I'm like, I'll let you talk for a little bit, Graciela. How are things up in North Carolina? And like, are you noticing this up there as well? Are you noticing this for yourself personally?
Well, I wanted to go back to the beginning where you talked about shedding because it reminded me an incident in my life, 25 more plus whatever years ago. And it kind of was in the shedding theme. And I forget what it was, but like somebody was trying to be nice to me and I just like bit their heads off or something or whatever. Like I just got mad, whatever it was. And my aunt said to me, "You're like somebody with a really bad sunburn where even a hug hurts." And those words have stayed with me for so long because I'm like, wow, sometimes if someone is trying to be nice to you and you're not in the mindset of receiving it, it could feel like something really painful and bad, And when you were talking about shedding, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, wow, your skin is so raw. Um, I will say the other day, I was invited somewhere and it looked really fun and it looked really great. But that day I was just so mentally and physically exhausted. And I just said, I would love to come. Please, like, keep me on your invite list. I really want to go, but today's not the day. I have to rest because I know what's going to happen if I go. I'm going to have a meltdown. I'm going to not feel good. I'm not going to be my best self. I'll probably be like that sunburn, right? Just overly sensitive to whatever it is. So definitely, not just this time of year, really always for me is like being hyper aware of where am I right now? Like before I even pick up the phone, before I even walk out of the house. The other day I had a client, bless her heart, she just caught me at the right moment. And we were talking about whatever in her photo shoot, and it reminded me of something. And all of a sudden I'm crying and she's looking at me and I'm looking at her and I'm like, sorry, it just happens. Like it just needed to come out. I'm like, it's okay. And then we had a great session. But yeah, I definitely need to guard my, fragile skin as I grow the new one, and get into whatever it is it might be, the new phases, right? There's always a new phase. And I was thinking of the phrase nowadays, um, people always say, like, oh, things are so stressful nowadays, and honestly, I think since humanity has been trying to survive, it's been a shit show since day one. It's just you weren't tuned into that channel. It really has. Like, tell me one period of time where everybody felt good, right? Because where one side of the world, has incredible wealth, the other side has incredible poverty. And where one person is living their dream life, helicopters and golf courses and yachts and things like that. For every, one of those, there's 50,000 that are living a life of poverty, right? So it's always been a shit show. It's just, where has your attention been? So I'm curious, like, and I would love to hear from the audience on this. Like, when you think back to the good old days, where was your attention, right? What was happening in your life that had you hyper focused on the good? Because 1,000% that there was terrible things happening out there, right? And then now it's a little bit different. I do believe, like, so much of social media has so much good and so much just psychological, torture, because it used to be that if you wanted the news, you had to put on, walk up to your TV and put on channel 4, channel 6, channel 10, whatever it was. And you couldn't, like, you couldn't do it 24 hours a day. They only played the news, 1 hour in the morning, an hour at 5, an hour at 6. And then if you stayed up real late, I think again at 10 or something like that. But that was it. Now it's like 24/7 bombardment at any time of day. Whatever you need to know, it is there and readily available to you, right? And I don't know that our human brains were built to process this much information, Now, I have trouble with that because I can't lean into ignorance. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. Ignorance is bliss. It absolutely is. Like, turn your attention away from the bad and everything is sunshine and rainbows, Like, that's why it was so easy to be a kid, because you didn't have the job, you didn't have the mortgage, you didn't have any of it. So I don't know, part of it for me is finding the balance of, where am I putting my attention? How can I make a positive impact in the world without letting it suck me in? Even in my own home, right? Like, what's going well, what's not going well, the roof, the deck, the wind. The other day we had a windstorm in the middle of the night that I was like, well, tonight's the night, Elizabeth, I'm coming to you. Like, it's I was like, well, okay. So yeah, I think it's about attention for me mostly. And kind of just observing things and understanding it and participating as much as I can, while still keeping my attention on, do I need to take a rest? Do I need to back off for a minute and catch my breath and come back stronger? By the way, don't miss my new mug. Shout out to Christine Walker. I'm telling you, there's so many artisans here in North Carolina. Christine Walker, artisan, Wild Appalachian Holistics, this cute little witchy store. It is absolutely adorable, and I love them. And this is my new mug.
Can you turn it, like, can I see the side and the back? Very cool. Yes, it even has the sutures. Amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's funny, I know a PT named Christine Walker who I feel like lives in one of the Carolinas. I don't know. And I'm going, has she switched professions?
Might be.
But yeah, I have a little bit of an obsession with bones for some reason, and particularly the skull. But back to you were talking about the news and, like, information overload, and I always laugh. I've never liked the news. I didn't want to read the newspaper. I didn't want to watch the news. I a few years back was, like, going through a purging, which, by the way, beautiful tool to use right now. Like, get rid of stuff that's occupying space that you don't need. It's so like, I don't know, soothing, comforting to get rid of stuff in your space. that's not serving you. But a few years back, I was going through stuff and I found old report cards.
Mm.
And one of the report cards, it was like, yes, she's so smart, da da da, she's doing great. And she lacks interest in current events, which current events back then was like, I know it was about like, we were given assignments to go read a news article and write about the news article, whatever. And I like hated that. And it was sometime in my 20s, and I wish I remembered like what book it was I was reading, but it was, either a spiritual or a personal development or something like this. And in the book said, the best thing you can do for your mental well-being is to stop paying attention to the news. Stop watching the news, stop reading the news. And I was like, thank you. Like, and nowadays, there's a word. I don't need permission for anything from anyone. But back then, I kind of did because I wasn't as secure and confident in myself. So back then, like getting that confirmation from someone that, like, my internal instincts were right. Like this stuff isn't good for you. And I will say, given that I don't watch the news or read the news anymore, and I haven't for, and I oftentimes say part of the reason I divorced my ex-husband, it was because if he could, he would watch the news 24/7. And like I'd come home and the new, even though he wasn't sitting in front of the TV, like the news was blasting into our home. And I'm like, do you not understand the energy that is putting into my space? Like I can't live in this space. You need to, turn this back and dial this down because it's just negative energy. And I am sensitive to that. And I don't want that here. And that's not being said that I don't know and find out about what's happening in the world. But I also know the only thing that I can impact is what is immediately in my space right now. And so in my space, I actively make the decision to hold the energy of love, of kindness. And that's the only place I can really make change. But I also know that when I make that change to that person that's in front of me right now, that person is going to go out and touch other people that I don't touch. And that impact that I had will shift that. And it's that ripple effect that goes through. And so you do what you can in the space that you are and just trust that that is going to ripple through.
Yeah.
So
It's a really tough call for me because I feel a sense of responsibility. Like, how do I say this? Like, I think I don't know how to say this. There's something important to me about witnessing someone else's pain. And I don't know if maybe that means like I should have been a therapist or something, but sometimes I feel like, okay, if I can't be a frontline person, right? Because I'm not like a protester type. I can't be out there, throwing bottles and setting things on fire. And I love a good anarchist. It's just I don't have the constitution for that. And I feel like if I can't make a bigger impact by working for a big nonprofit or going into politics or any of those things, then at least what I can do is witness your suffering and just observe it, and say, yes, it's real and this is really happening. There's a part of me that feels like if I ignore the news too much, then I'm burying my head in the sand. And of course it's going to feel like rainbows and butterflies to me because I'm not seeing the reality, and I say that having been the reality, right? Having been the person that I wish somebody would see me and get me out of this, you know what I mean? Like to help me, Mr. Wizard, right? So it's an interesting place for me to be because I want to acknowledge and I want to see and do all of the things and I can't turn my back on it. And also like you, I understand that, my place in this, great show of who gets to do what in the world. What I do have the constitution for is taking it one at a time. I said to someone the other day, I'm not a public speaker, you know, and as much as I have plenty to say, I literally like I need active listening from the audience. Like I was thinking the other day, you know, whenever I talk about something really serious, people that are listening, their faces look like this. And that to me, immediately in my head, it's not like, oh, they're enthralled. They're so enthralled that they forgot about their face and they're listening. No, in my head, it's like, they hate you. Get out. Like, you're horrible. Like, it's literally the first thing that occurs to me. I'm like, everybody's bored. They all hate me. So I know. So public speaking is not my thing. I'm not a military person. I'm not a protester. I'm not that. But what I am is a person that can sit and listen to a lot of really horrible shit and be okay. You know what I mean? So I probably should have been a therapist, which is what I wanted to do when I was 15 anyway. But
So, and I've said this to you so many times that I'm going to say it again. So make sure you're listening right now. But your work that you do as a photographer is just as valuable and healing as the work that I do as a therapist, that
yeah.
a psychotherapist does. Like, you might not have a professional label that people immediately associate with healing work, but your work is so healing and it is what you do. And I'm also laughing at you do realize you're public speaking right now. And so you are a public speaker.
Just
And
because I have a whole lot of shit to say doesn't make me a public speaker. But thank you. And yes, and I recognize that. And I love that, right? I love that my clients go through a cathartic experience, you know, as they, you know, go through the whole photography thing. And you're right. And you know, that's kind of what I'm saying is like, I know that this particular little sliver of experience, this is my little tiny spot, you know, it's a little tiny hill and that one's mine. And this is what I'm good at, you know. But anyway, back to the holidays and winter and things like that, you know. I know we all still got to keep on working and we all still got to keep on making money and paying the bills. Like the mortgage company doesn't give a shit that it's winter and we should be hibernating. I get that. And also in whatever limited free time you have, I highly recommend just hibernating a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the perfect time of year. So
yeah, I think in modern times here, we've become so busy and so doing. And I think some of that is because of cell phones and internet. And so we're all aware of all of the things that are happening. And we keep shooting on ourselves, you know, yes, I should be there. I should be there. I should do this. I should do that. And it really is, you know, just like you said, you gave yourself permission to say, I appreciate the invitation and I would really like to be a part of things that you do in the future. But today is not the day for me. Today is the day that I honor myself. I give myself that gift of rest. And you know, really, it shouldn't be so hard for us to allow ourselves to rest. Like, it should just be like we tune in and we go, yep, I need rest. Today I'm going to rest. Or sometimes there's things that we have to do. Okay, go ahead and do that thing, but then make sure that you carve out another space where you allow yourself that rest time. 'Cause, yeah,
yeah,
winter
I
is supposed to be the slow down time.
I will say like I how shall I say this? Like it is say I told you I'm not a public speaker. My experience of allowing myself to rest has been different in different phases of my life, right? So before I was a mom, it was easier to rest because I didn't have an obligation, right? But once I had kids, my job is to keep human beings alive. And not only that, but turn them into good humans who will then thrive. Like that's the biggest, hardest freaking job I had ever signed up for. When I had a day job, you know, I could clock out at 5 o'clock and turn my brain off and be like, okay, see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's problems, you know, whatever I leave on my desk today, it'll be there in the morning. I even quit a job once and ended up coming back like 4 months later. And the shit I left on my desk 4 months earlier was still there when I got back. So like, but my brain was turned off. As an entrepreneur, I think we have another layer, because for me, it always feels like I should be busy. You know, if I don't go to an event, is my business going to suffer? Does that mean less money in my pocket? Does that mean, not being able to pay the bills? I don't know, whatever my spiral takes me down. But I do recognize that it's a little bit harder for entrepreneurs because we don't clock in and clock out. I always talk about our friend Tiffany, who's got the best, toughest boundaries of any entrepreneur I've ever known. If you try and send her a message after 5 o'clock, immediately you get that out of office. Sorry, unavailable, can't talk right now. We'll check first thing. Or she goes on vacation, immediately her out of office goes on. I'm like, wow, I haven't set an out of office in 30 years. Because I always feel like I'm never out of office. I'm available. Like, yes, if I'm awake, I will answer you. Absolutely. Because I feel like, my safety and security depends on it, So for all you entrepreneurs out there, I feel you and I hear you. And yes, we all know that you don't always need to be available to your clients. That is not the right thing for everybody. It works for me because it keeps my anxiety low. I feel like I'm doing a good job, and it doesn't bother me. Like my clients don't stress me out. They just have questions at 7 p.m. and so I answer them. It's not a big deal. But yes, FOMO is a thing when you feel like that event, if you miss it, that you're missing out on safety, security, friendship, right? What's FOMO really about? For me anyway.
So one of the other things too that we haven't really mentioned yet is community. And my brain just went, misery loves company. Like, yeah, we're all awful. When we get together and realize that we're not alone, like there is some comfort in that as well. But also like people are in, like we're in different phases. And so sometimes when you're having your misery, I'm okay. And when I'm having my misery, you're okay. And so we're able to support each other through that. And I'm like, as I'm saying that, like I can, like that has happened so many times in our lives together here that we kind of, when one of us is in the shit phase, the other one is in a good phase, and we help balance each other out. And that's amazing. But I hear so often too, like people are like, I don't want to bother them. They have so many troubles of their own. But I'm like, if you're friends, like you can comfort each other. And there are, I feel like everybody is so busy, and so even though you're with people, like you're not really connecting. You're just like going through and doing all these things, and find the space and the time to slow down and actually connect with people. And I'm sure someone's done some research on this somewhere. I have none to quote though, but I just feel like when I'm in the presence of someone else who is present with me, like that in itself, whether we're both in a great mood, if we're both in a shitty mood, like it just calms the nervous system and it feels good to the heart. And so finding time to just connect, even if it's just like to come and sit and cry together, like pull out the box of Kleenex and have at it.
Girl, that's my favorite time. That's my favorite time. I was thinking one of my favorite things about the old studio was the events that we would have, and I always say I started them because I would have so many people tell me individually how lonely they were or how frustrated they were, and they didn't have anybody to talk to and this and that. So I was like, okay, well, if I just put all these people in the same room together, like then everybody's got somebody, and so that was the beginning of little events. And then we would watch a movie that would direct our conversation, and what I loved about those gatherings is that it wasn't about business. It wasn't about handing somebody your business card. It wasn't even about what's your last name or what do you do for a living. But it immediately, and this is why I love like women's groups and gatherings. I always will. When you show up, without an agenda, you just get to be yourself. And it's just like this amazing, beautiful connection of like, you're a woman, I'm a woman, you know, you're a human, I'm a human. And here's my experience and here's yours. And, you know, some days it's really like when we would watch Sex in the City, it would be, you know, super surface level, you know, kitschy fun. And then other times it would be like it was one person's day to cry, and that person would just, you know, eat up the whole conversation because they had to get through something. And it was the joy of everyone else to give them the time and the space to do that. And of course, the more you watch other people, the more you see that in yourself. And you can have that same experience without ever even opening your mouth, you know. So that meant so much more to me than like, you know, here's this networking event, come in and throw your business card in someone's face, you know. Now I absolutely credit the networking for introducing me to like-minded people. So it's one still, for me, one still has to go with the other. It's a really cool place to meet people. But for me, once I got my tribe, you know, once I got the community of people like that are showing up, it was so nice to just get together and, you know, be, you know, who is it? Trevor Noah. And I forget what culture. I don't know if it's Jamaican. I can't remember, but something called liming. I think it's Jamaican or maybe Trinidadian. Liming is the verb. And it just means you come to my house, I go to your house with absolutely no plan, and we just sit there. That's it. Like we're just hanging out, you know? And I was like, that's such a great word because it's no agenda. You don't have to bring anything. You don't have to have a conversation starter kit. Like you don't need anything. You just go and sit down, you know?
Yeah, that like when you said that, it just like brought me back to my childhood when you didn't you didn't have to call someone to make an appointment to go visit them. Like you would just show up at people's houses and you know, everybody always had a pot of coffee on and you just you know, we'd be driving somewhere and we'd be driving past someone's house and it would just be, hey, let's stop and see if they're in. We'd pull in and knock on the door, and sometimes they were there, and we would go in, and sometimes they weren't there, and you're just like, and then you left a note, hey, we were in the neighborhood, we stopped by, you weren't here, hope you're doing well, you know, like what happened to that? Because I don't hear of people doing that anymore. I kind of like have this fantasy that like in smaller communities that people do still do that, but but yeah, like random stop in and check in on someone and go ahead.
I think part of that, well, I was thinking part of that is also geography, you know, like, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, my family all lived very close to each other. So it was not a big deal to run across the street or run 3 blocks over or whatever to just pop in on somebody, you know. Now, if I wanted to see my sister, I'd have to go to Chicago. If I wanted to see my mother, I'd have to go to Pembroke Pines, right? Like it's,
But I'm not just
and then
talking about family, like all of our neighbors, we all knew each other and we all looked out for each
you all
other.
knew. Yeah, but
And
likely your kids all the kids went to the same school because of districting and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like here, the houses are so far apart. Like you got to make an effort to to go by. You know, so I
that's
don't know.
different. But also, like my dad lives out in the boonies and you know, there's a little development behind him and he's met those people and you know, they have coffee together and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
anyway, um,
Anyway,
but
who
I just
will
want to
Juliet
say,
drop in on this week? But I think that
say
should be a
again.
new feature. I said there should be a new feature. Who will Julietta drop in on this week? Unannounced.
Watch out, here I come. Um, so anyway, I think we've hit all the points and just like a reminder everybody, you're not alone. We're all feeling it right now. Take a few deep breaths, you know, come to an event, like get your chakras balanced, have some cacao with us, have a sound bath. Um, phone a friend. Um, yeah, find community. We're all in this together. It's all gonna be okay. And you know, if you don't know who to call me or call Graciela. Like we're here. And just want to also like this is the last week to sign up for Wild and Free retreat. So if you've been thinking about it, it's time to pull the trigger and sign up. There's a few spots left. And I think that's it for now.
That's it. Happy holidays to all who celebrate. Enjoy the weather wherever you are. And we'll see you in a week.
Absolutely. Have a magical day.